So we created our migration and it created our tables. Now, so that's how we create the models. All right. So now that we are done with this part, I'm going to show how we're going to structure the the other part of the project, which is to define what each and every player in the whole system does. So if I create a new folder here, I'm going to call this GraphQL. So this is where we're going to have another folder called student, and in here I'm going to create another folder called teacher, right? Teacher. Now, for a student, I'm going to have a new file called index.js. So inside index, that's let me just write a few comments here just to tell you what we're trying to achieve. So for every student, a student should be able to sign up. So I'm just writing down all the processes that we need the student to be able to do. Student should be able to log in. A student should be able to register for a course, and a student should be able to deregister from a course, and a student should be able to retrieve registered courses. Right. So these are the basic functions we are going to be using for the student. Right. Now, so yeah, that's what we need for the student. And in here for the teacher as well, I'm just gonna do a copy paste here. But in here it will be a teacher should be able to sign up, log in. It should be able to register a student for a course. So a teacher can have power to add a student to a course, as well as a teacher has the power to deregister a student from a course. Now, a teacher should be able to retrieve courses being taught, right? Then what else? Yeah, so these should be the basic functions a teacher can perform. All right, so now that we have our database that connects to the database and updates it and retrieves information, we are going, remember we did say in our in Webpack, our entry point into our function, it's actually app index.js. So inside app, we're going to create an index.js there. We're going to create an index.js. Right. Now we need to define how the application is going to, like, the entry point of our whole application so that it can give information to the outside world. So we are going to use our Babel polyfill. It helps with managing the types that you're going to be using. So we'll define in the next video the different types you can get. What you can define yourself. You can define a type that you want a function to return. So Babel helps with that. A polyfill in Babel. Well, it's part of Babel anyway. So now we're going to be using Express. Express is our server, right? From Express, we're going to be using Express as our server, and now we're going to be using our body parser to sort of like talk between SQLize and JavaScript. Now we're going to say our const body parser there. Body parser is equal to, we're going to require the body parser that we installed via yarn, and so we're going to use our Apollo server const. We're going to use Apollo server from what do you call this, from the Apollo server Express, so that it works well with the Express that we're going to be displaying. So I'm just going to rush through because this video is already a bit too long. I'm going just to rush through everything. I'm just going to type a bit faster now, so that we can save time. Yeah, so this app is what we are going to be displaying, is actually what we are going to be using to get requests from users outside. Now we are going to so our app will be using, we're going to use the body parser, so that every data that you return is going to be in JSON format. Now our app as well should be able to read URL encoded data from the body parser, URL encoded data. So we're going to say extended to be true. Right. We can use CORS in here because you know about blocking CORS to mismatch of some information at times. Now we are going to define our server, right? We're going to define our server as a new Apollo server now. New Apollo server, right? But now we're going to give it a few options, and the modules, it's actually the modules are these files that are in GraphQL here. These files that sort of like defines every function that a student can perform, a teacher can perform, anyone can really perform. So I'm just gonna include them direct. Where are we? We are in app, so we need to do that. I'm sorry, graph slash GraphQL slash student index. Yeah, you can write index.js. So it's going to we need to require the file so that it resolves the functions that you can perform. I don't know why it's doing this. Yeah, GraphQL. We have our student. We have our index. Right. Also, you're going to have your teacher in here. Yeah. So these are the files that we'll be working with, that the server can have access to be displayed to the outside world. Now we are going to tell that the app should also work. We're going to apply a middleware. I'm sorry, apply a middleware. Apply middleware. Being our app. So apply middleware tells us that this app is actually working with what you was no, this server that we were going, this server is actually working with the app. So it's sort of like linking the server to the app, because our server tells us which files we are going to be using, but our app is the one that is actually executed. Right. Now if you have multiple projects, I'm just gonna run through this one. If you say get, right, if you do a get and you have the root, you are going to you always get a request and a response, right, a response. So in this situation, I'm just going to say response dot send hello world, hello world. So by default, the path to this server is slash, yeah, what you got this GraphQL. But yeah, if you have multiple things that you need to display, you can use it here. So another example is slash paper. You can write whatever you want in here, but yeah, as our root we're gonna use that. Now we're going to say app.listen. We are in here, we're defining the port. We're going to define the port that the application is going to be running on. I usually use 5000, but you can use whatever you are comfortable with. And that function will actually just tell us, we're just gonna say console.log running on 5000, running on 5000. Yeah, so this is how, it's a very simple script to actually set up the server to start running. But this is going to fail because these guys, they don't retain anything related to GraphQL. So if we actually run yarn start, let me run this. You can say yarn start or npm start. Yeah, if you do yarn start, it's actually going to crash. Reason being, it's saying unexpected string, yeah, because these guys, they don't have any information that helps us with GraphQL, so it's actually going to crash. To make things just so just to speed up, I decided to just make a simple query that we're going to be using to show you that the application actually works. One mistake I did is don't define the DB before the GQL. So the GQL should always be on top, right? Then it will run smoothly. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, I actually forgot. This is a function that you import. It's not like a full file, so you need to give us those brackets. Then if you do that, it will actually run. There we go. So it's now running on localhost 5000, just like, yeah, just like we defined here. Now if we actually go to localhost 5000, remember that hello world that we wrote right here. Yeah, so that's our root. By default we have the GraphQL. We have GraphQL as our root. So these are some of the things I use for my projects, and I will be going through some the testing. So this interface that you're seeing here, it's actually used for testing your GraphQL. It comes with Express and Apollo server as the Apollo server as well. So it's a nifty tool to have, and all you have to do it's actually do this Apollo server, and the server applying this middleware allows you to get access to your documentation. It automatically creates a documentation where it tells you like the type that is returned and everything. Yeah, it tells you everything. Yeah. Alright, and you can browse your schema that you're working with in here in the Apollo 7 interface. Alright, now one thing that so in the next video we're actually going to be looking at how to write this. So I'll be explaining what's a type, extended types, and how to write queries and mutations, and how to insert that information into a database. So tomorrow I'll be touching on types and input, and actually putting the information in the database. So in the next video we're actually going to do these these five functions. These five functions. We're actually gonna do 2, 3. We can only perform 2, since we are going to need the model for the courses, linking a course, and that will be done tomorrow as well. So we'll just do another run at the migration process, and I will just go through it again. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comment section, and I'll look at them, and I'll get back to you. One last thing, please guys, just subscribe. I'm kind of new to the whole YouTube thing, so if you can just subscribe in the button below, that would be fantastic. All right, thank you and good night.